Hi lovelies! Today we're going to be talking about how to be present in the moment, how to be present in your life, how to be present within yourself. And this is going to really help you be more joyful, happy, be more grateful for what you have, and really help you be more at peace within yourself and more centered within yourself as well. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the foundation of this video, and really the foundation of learning how to be more present, which is to actually really pay attention to where your attention and energy is going. Because a lot of the time, if we're not paying attention to where our energy and our attention are going, usually that can also mean that it could be going on to negative things, draining things, things that are not going to actually help you attract what you want, help you be at peace, be happy, be joyful, if you're not actually aware of the things that you're doing. Or even actually being aware when you need rest, or being aware when you need a break, because you're not paying attention to what is going on within yourself or where your energy and attention is going outside of yourself. When you go into thinking about the past and the future, you are not in the present moment. You're not present with yourself. You're gone off into a different realm of things completely. So it's about bringing yourself back every single time you find yourself drifting off into the past or drifting off into the future. It's about bringing your attention back into the present. Yes, of course, you can grow from the past and you can learn from the past, but the moment it stops becoming helpful and becoming more destructive, if you're not trying to gain something from the past, where like you're learning from an aspect of what you've learned from in the past and you're trying to figure out what you've learned from that experience to bring it to help you in the present, that can be helpful. But if you're actually drowning yourself into the past and your past mistakes and your past failures and just going in deeper and deeper into this dark place of thinking about things from the past and they're affecting you, or things that you just can't let go of and you're constantly thinking about them, it's not going to help you be present. So it's about really setting boundaries with yourself, setting some discipline with yourself, that once you go into the past and you're not actually learning something and you're not actually getting any benefit of going back into the past, then bring yourself and your attention back into the present moment and really focus on what is going on right now. Then there's the future. We can get stuck in the future because we think that all of the things that we want are going to happen in the future, and we can get stuck daydreaming about the future, how things are going to go. Maybe if you're uncertain about things, if you're unsure about things and what direction you're going to go down or what the plans are, and you're worried and anxious about these things, this can also affect you. So it's great to obviously visualize what you want and what you want to manifest. But it's about seeing the limit when it comes to, are you doing that more than actually being present with yourself? Are you doing that more than actually seeing how you are right now and how you can actually make yourself happy right now? If you want, you can imagine what you want in this present moment. Bring your energy back to, okay, if I could have anything right now, what can I have in this present moment? And then do it. And actually, try and create whatever you visualized, whatever feeling came up, try and recreate that. The most important tip and the simplest tip I can actually give you when it comes to focus and awareness and being present is to simply figure out when you're not present, and that will help you be present. Check in with yourself. Check in and see, when am I being present? Am I being present? If you find yourself drifting off, click, that means I'm not present. So it's about really becoming aware of when you're not present, checking in with yourself, noticing, am I being present? Asking yourself, am I being present in this moment? This will help you identify when you are and when you're not present, and this will help you be more present. It's very simple and it's quite easy to do. You can do it throughout your day as much as you want. And I will tell you one other thing, that if you don't know whether you're being present or not, well, if you're distracted on your phone, if you're distracted on the laptop constantly, if you're distracting yourself with things, then it's time to put the technology away and it's time to actually be more present with yourself. It's time to turn off the TV, turn off the phone, and actually spend some time with yourself. You're constantly on your phone or you're constantly on your laptop because you're working, then it's about taking breaks and making sure you're taking time to be present and just taking a few minutes, every while to actually bring yourself back into the present moment. How can I stay present? Well, you can actually dive into your senses, your 5 senses, and you can become aware of all the different senses around you. If there's silence around you, become aware of the silence around you. If there's noises around you, if there's cars passing your building, or if there's noises going on in your house somewhere, noises from the air conditioning, whatever is coming up or whatever you can hear, really hone into the sounds. What can you see around you? What colors can you see? Looking at your hands, looking at your feet, looking around you, and actually really being present with everything that you see around you. Then you can go into smells. What smells are going on around you? Maybe you can light a candle and smell a candle. Really get your senses going. Or cook something, or heat something up, or go have some food and smell the food, and then that goes into taste, tasting the food, seeing the texture, seeing the flavors of what you're eating. And touch. Touch is the most important to help you be present. Touching your hair, touching your hands. Maybe you want to get a crystal that helps you stay present. Maybe you want to get a certain object, a lucky object, or something that you like to hold to help you stay present. Movement can help you be more present, focusing on what movement you're taking throughout the day, focusing on where you're going, focusing on actually what moves you're making throughout the day with the actions you're taking. I'm moving right now with my hands. What are you doing at your work, or what are you doing during the day, or how are you washing the dishes? How are you cooking? What movements are you making each time you're doing these things? Really hone in on each step you're taking and really become aware of the process. And start doing things one at a time. Don't be multitasking. Actually focus on one thing at a time and really explore it. Dive in deep to it and really become present with it each step of the way, no matter how small. If you can move your hand, become present of that. Become present of the sensation when you're moving the hands. When you're drying your hands, become aware of the sensation of your hands being dry. When you're putting cream on your hands, become aware of the sensation of cream being put on your hands, or the actions you need to take to get the cream, to put the cream on, whatever it is. When you're cooking, what movements are you making, and how does that feel within your body when you're making these movements? And this is really focusing on small things as well, not just with movement, but with whatever you're doing. Focusing on the small task at hand, focusing on just the first step rather than all the steps, focusing on one thing at a time, whether that's at work, whether that's with movement, whether that's whatever you're doing, just really honing in on just the one step you're taking in front of you. and really identifying how you're feeling and being present with that step and each step you take after that. It's not focusing on the end goal. It is focusing on the step you have right in front of you. Whenever you find yourself drifting off to the end goal, bring yourself back into the present moment and what step you actually have right now and what you can actually do right now to complete that step, rather than focusing on the end goal. In order to stay present, it's important to become aware of what is going on around you and who is around you and what is going on around you and what you're doing to be present. And even if you're with people, really become aware and become present and really listen to them and see what they're saying and pay attention to them and put focus on what they're saying and what they're doing, not what you need to say to them, not your reply to what they're saying, focusing on what they are actually saying. You might even have a better conversation than you would have thought you would have had with that person, just because you're actually giving them more focus, more attention, and pretty much more love and care with what you're actually doing, because you're actually becoming more present with them. Also, I just want to mention, although I'm telling you to become aware and focused on being present and really identify when you're being present with yourself, it's not to say to guilt yourself or to blame yourself when you're not present, or when you find yourself falling into past or future or whatever you're doing, or the stress that you're having or something that you're worried about. Instead, show yourself some love and compassion and realize it's okay that you're not present right now. So firstly, throughout the day, just ask yourself, am I present? Am I present with myself in this moment? Am I living in the present moment right now? You can ask yourself, what am I learning right now in this present moment? Or what am I learning from this person that I'm with right now? You can ask yourself, what am I doing? What am I doing in this present moment? And describe it to yourself. And then really hone in on those senses when you're describing it to yourself. Ask yourself, what is going on with me right now? What am I feeling? How am I doing? What am I taking action on and what am I not taking action on? What am I doing right now in this moment? And how am I feeling within myself and in my body right now? Really become aware of what is going on within you. Ask yourself, instead of focusing on the future, what can you do right now to move yourself towards the future you want? Or to move yourself in the right direction. Ask yourself, is there joy? Is there ease? Is there lightness to what you're doing? Do you feel at peace? Do you feel light? Do you feel joyful? Do you feel happy when you're doing the things that you're doing? Ask yourself. And if not, you're probably not being present with yourself. You're probably not focusing in enough on being present within yourself or within the moment or within life in general. So maybe change how or what you're doing. Ask yourself, what is the problem right now? What is the problem in this present moment? If you are not happy and you are feeling uncomfortable to stay present, why is that? What is the current issue? And then work on asking yourself and actually finding the solution. What is the solution to this problem? What can I do right now? What act can I do right now? What action can I do right now to actually move myself into feeling good and actually solving the problem? And you can write these answers out or these questions out and write them out and really express how you're feeling and what thoughts you're having. When you write down your thoughts, you're more an observer, you're more present rather than focusing on what is going on and really in your head. And if you don't want to write it down, just observe your thoughts without any judgments and really just observing them rather than putting any attachments or value onto the thoughts that you're actually having and just identifying them. And if it's easier for you to write them down as well. Now, the next step is all about the body. So we talked a bit about thoughts, but our thoughts and our feelings are very interlinked. So it's important that when we're dealing with our thoughts, we're also actually working on dealing with our emotions as well. So I have a whole video on how to process emotions. So if you haven't checked that out yet, you really should consider doing that. And this will also help you be more present as well. And I also actually have a blog on actually getting yourself back into your body and being more present with yourself. And I will link both of those down below. A lot of the time, why we don't want to be present is because we can feel emotional pain within us and that we don't want to be in. But the funny thing is, if we actually allow ourselves to feel how we're feeling and actually feel that pain, it can actually release a lot faster and actually help you release it. When we ignore it and we bypass our feelings, it's going to stay there and it's going to ruminate, and it's going to actually stop you from feeling better. But once you actually be present with it and you give it the acknowledgement and the love and care it needs, the more it will actually release and actually help you feel better. There's so many ways online about breathing, about how to breathe while you're meditating. There's so many different techniques. You can do a breathing meditation where you're just focused on your breath, but you can take it a step further and actually focus on the breath, but also focus on the body and imagine every single time you take a breath that you're releasing the actual feelings and the pain within yourself. And even if you're just doing some breath work and you're just breathing in 5 times and holding for 5 and breathing out for 5, focusing on that breath and just focusing on what's going on around you and just focusing on the present moment can really help that. And you can do that throughout the day. If you prefer to do yoga, if you prefer to do writing, or if you prefer to do art, anything that helps you be in a meditative state can also help you be present. And this can also be with prayers as well. And throughout the day, if you find yourself drifting back off, and you are struggling to actually be present, write down some affirmations for yourself or figure out a mantra for yourself where you can say this throughout the day to help you bring your attention back to the present moment, or even just a word that helps bring you back into the present moment, even if it's just present, or it's something that's catchy that will help you just click on, or even just click your fingers. If that's easier. If you're that bad about being present, put some alarms on your phone to actually be present with yourself and to remind yourself to be present. The next step is to actually be willing and let go and surrender. And when I'm saying surrender, I'm not saying don't do anything. I'm saying accept how things are right now. If you're not happy, recognize where you are right now is not where you want to be, and that you actually want to get out. Be willing to just forget about labeling the circumstance or the situation and actually working on taking action on what you can right in this moment. See what needs to be taken action on and what needs to be done to move you out of where you don't want to be. Focus on the step right in front of you and focus on taking action on that. It's really about focusing on what you can do right in this moment, in this present moment, not what you can do tomorrow, not what you can do the day after. It's about what can you do right now to shift and change your circumstances. Surrender to that and surrender to the situation. And if you feel that you can't do anything, it's again surrendering to the situation and believing that a sign will come your way to know what action to take moving forward. Maybe the action is about focusing on just being present in the moment. The next step I'm going to talk about is actually changing things up. changing your routine up. Once you change your routine up, you can get out of that autopilot and actually focus on being more present, because you're doing things that you're not used to doing. So try and change something up in your routine, or what you're eating, or how you're using things, or how you do things, or what activities you're doing, or what you're wearing. Whatever it is, just try and change and give yourself more variety throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month, to help you bring yourself back into being present. And that is it for this video, and I hope you got some benefit out of it. If you have, please share this with anyone you think that might get use out of it. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. It will help me out a lot. And if you have enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, and I will see you next week. I'm sending you all lots of unconditional love and healing energy. Remember, you are not alone. Love you lots. Mwah.